Hi, I'm Josh Maps here in the Wolf Room, and we've got built-in Wolf product, and we're going to talk today about the coffee system. Really, the easiest way to brew up not just coffee, but you can do macchiatos, you can do espressos, you can just make hot water, or if you want to just froth some milk, if you want to make your own chai latte, you got all sorts of options here. And it's so easy to do with very little maintenance. Let's hop into it. So right now it's turned off, and before I turn it on, it does slide out. It's on little sliders. I have some storage space in the back, and then I have a top section here that has the adjustable burr grinder setting, and I could change how fine or coarse I'd like my coffee beans to be ground, because it all happens inside this machine. I'm going to take some beans, and don't use really oily beans or like super flavored beans. Try to get a mild bean, something that's not like really shiny, and I'm just going to pour it in here. And then you close it. Now next to it, we do have the option, if you do love flavored coffees and you have some favorites, that's okay. In the middle, you've got a section with a little scoop hiding here, and that allows you to do, instead of a whole bean, you could use your grounds. In which case, we're less worried about something oily, because really the grinding elements can be affected by really oily beans. Okay, so that's as simple as it is up top. I'm going to close it up, and we're going to turn it on here. Power button's off to the left. I'm going to get a little cup just because it's probably going to go through a little rinse cycle. Usually what happens when it heats up and then kind of begins the stage. There is a tray at the bottom that could be capturing these types of rinsing elements, or if you spill something. This tray is removable. We'll get to that in the end. But what's going to happen right now is it indicates it's heating up on the LCD, and then it's going to probably flush out a little bit of water. Here it comes. It's pretty quick, maybe about 15 seconds. After that's done, we're ready to go. And what we could do is all sorts of things. Now right now, this little piece right here is the water spout. I installed it by plugging it in. It comes out. I could pop it back on. Now that water spout being inserted allows me to do the next function here with those little droplets on it. So if I just want a cup of tea, instant hot water, I can walk up to my machine, and I'm going to hold down this little water button, this little droplet icon, press it down, and you're going to get just hot, scalding water come right out. Pretty instant. So it's all done. It's ready to go. Let's get this out. Well, I'll leave that there. Let me show you. I'm going to hold the water button down. And just like that, you've got hot water. When you're done, you just press it again, and it stops. Simple as that. Quick, easy way for you to have some hot boiling water. So I'm going to remove that little sprout here, little spout, and we're going to get back to that because we've got another element here that's going to allow us to make cappuccinos, and we'll plug that in the same spot in a second. But I just want a cup of coffee. So I'm going to set my cup here. I've got my beans in. I've got water. That's important. You've got a removable half-gallon container that's right here. And it's very simple. Just fill it up, clean it out whenever you need to, and that's it. You don't need to access anything in the back to make all this work. That's more just storage and where you put your beans and ground coffee. All right, so I've got water. I'm ready to go here. My next feature here allows me to press this button. I can make a short coffee, and we're choosing volume. Long coffee, there's different options here, how ground your coffee is. So I could do extra strong, pre-ground, if I'm switching to the pre-ground, not the whole beans. Once you choose what you want, extra mild, let's say I want an extra strong cup of coffee. So I've toggled through those options. It's the next button that is your volume. So here I can say I want my coffee, which is you can program that feature to be your kind of favorite coffee settings. Otherwise, you've got the option of, let's see here, short coffee is what I'm going to make, but I could do long coffee if I have a larger mug. And then I'm pretty much ready to go here. So I can make 1 cup or 2 cups. So I'm going to make 1 cup. I press that 1 cup button, and that's it. I'm done. It's going to grind the beans. After it grinds the beans, it transfers those grounds into kind of like this pressed cake it makes. Like there's no filter involved here. It's like your regular drip coffee maker. Once it creates that little cake, water's coming through, and we're going to have a cup of coffee here. And the way it brews it, in the end, you've got this nice, rich, it's almost like a cream, but it's not. It's just straight coffee. So right now, it's going to utilize both of these little dispensers. If I had 2 mugs, I can have one here and one next to it, and simultaneously be creating 2 different beverages. In which case, I could do that for cappuccinos, or I could do that for really anything I want to. All right, so right now it's just about done. You've got a little loading bar that indicates the cycle and when it's going to be finished. And when it's done, it'll just go back to default on the regular screen. So it's just about finished. We are almost done. And then this screen's going to go away, and I have a cup of coffee. So you can't really see it here, but you've got a real nice cream froth it looks like, but it's just a cup of coffee. All right, so now we're going to get a little fancy here. There were some settings here that we just reviewed, but we have 2 more buttons to reference. The first one here is if I want a cappuccino. So I'm going to take this little milk container. The milk container is going to go same spot with the water spout plugged into. Don't use like vitamin D milk or heavy milks. Try to use a low-fat milk. It's really important. All right, so that's just plugged in. And now for this, there's really no settings or anything you really need to futz with. It's simple. All you're going to do is you're going to press one button, and that's it. Now it's going to create your cappuccino with no other settings necessary. So the last option is if you want to just froth milk for like a chocolate milk, or if you want to make a latte or anything like that, a macchiato. You got those options here, and you don't need to be a barista. It does all the work for you, and you'll have everything set up. It's also really easy to clean. So we're going to open it up in just a second to show you the insides, because there's a couple elements of maintenance. And I'll warn you, we've made a good amount of coffee on this machine, and there's a tray that houses all those used coffee grounds that you're going to see in a second. And what that's going to do is need to be emptied from time to time. So make sure you empty it, make sure you wash it, and make sure you dry it, because mold can build up in there. So we'll open that up in a second. Looks like I might have needed a little larger of a mug, but it's almost done. It's just about set here on a cappuccino. Luckily, we have a drip tray for this example, because it might go over a little bit. And then it's done with the frothing. You can see it. Delicious. So I'm just going to stop it for a second, because I know it's coming over. We're going to get that out of the way. All right, so I'm going to take this piece off, and I'm just going to show you real quick here. We made a little bit of a mess, but again, this is removable, and that's okay. We're going to take the nozzle piece and pull it back, and it opens up. And then inside here, we have a piece with all the used grounds, but this whole tray slides out. And I do have quite the mess here. So I've got a ground tray that's steaming because we just used it, but this tray has all the used grounds that needs to be cleaned out. The tray I'm holding is a disaster, especially with my little short mug for my cappuccino, so it's a little mess, but all this can be cleaned. When you're done, it's going to slide back in there. Close the door, and you are set to go. The last thing I forgot to point out is when I was done with my cappuccino, there's a button that you're going to press to flush out the pipe, the little tube right here, and then you're good to go. So check it out at app.com. We've got a great amount of coffee makers that are not built in if you don't have the space for it, but this Wolf one really has a great option for easy use and not too hard to clean.